Hey guys, it's Tessa. So I thought, because I've been loving color work lately, loving's a strong word there, I know, but because I've enjoyed color work, I thought I would share a bunch of crochet colorwork patterns that I really liked. Things to like dip your toes in for color work versus like some projects that maybe you want to use a little bit extra brain power when completing. So to start, some of my basic ones are just going to be your like standard color blocking. So that's going to be like this retro shawl, which is just using 2 strands of yarn, and when you get to the halfway point or whatever point in the pattern, you just switch your yarns to the next color. And then this is retro shawl by Ala Sasha? I'm not sure. Same idea here with the book club wrap by Alexandra Tavel. It looks like it's just multiple colors, like a gray, a darker gray, a white, and an orange potentially, and black. This is a really nice shawl though. I think it's also going to be a little bit on the denser side as well based on some of the stitches you can see here, especially in this section where you see like the dark gray, the black, the orange, and the white like stacked on each other. I think those are using the alpine stitch potentially, and that's kind of a thick stitch, especially without the color work, so I wouldn't be surprised if I added a little bit to it. One that does not take too much like extra brain power here to compute and think about, even though it looks like it, is the Alma sweater by Tatiana. This is just using the color yarn, the contrast color, this like pinky peachy color, is done by using front post double crochets. So that whole section where the pink is and where the gray is like next to it, all that's done doing front post double crochets to like avoid using like mosaic crochet, which we'll get into a couple of mosaic patterns here. But this is like a simpler version of that pretty much, or if you have more of like a linear design, this is kind of better for that in my opinion. Additionally, when you're just trying to experiment with some color work, you could also look at the Collage shirt by Jessica Soon. And it uses like a solid color for the solid rows, and then it looks like it uses a beige or like a contrast color for the chain slash lace work rows. Another one I believe is color blocking specifically is the Canyon Crossing by Mariana Mueller. So it looks like the first chunk of rows is then the one color, and then she switches to another color. And then also looks like she does one side at a time and then adds the next side. Fibonacci by Anna Elderson is a really cute skirt. I believe the green and black skirt that I made several videos at this point uses a similar pattern. It's a video pattern though from, I can't remember, but I'll link it in the iCards. I'll link the original video and my video on it. And then the last of the like beginner-ish color work patterns is going to be the Wheat Stitch Beanie by Brianna K Designs. Once again, it's 1 to 2 rows of it's 1 to 2 rows of a color, and then 1 row or 2 rows of the secondary color, and you switch back and forth. I just thought this was a really cute beanie for what it's worth. Some beanies I feel like look a little too circular, if that makes sense. They look a little too much like circles occasionally, but this one I think does a pretty good job at doing the smoother decreasing. We have the Tulip Stitch Flower Garden Vest by Beth Povey. You're using 3 colors, but it's 1 color at a time, and each color is a different stitch type. So it's a little bit more of like remembering which stitch goes to what color and so on. But moving on to maybe a little bit more of an advanced design. I thought this one was just really cool, so I wanted to include it here. This is a pretty simple one. This might even go in the beginner category, but tension becomes a question here. This is the Cobblestone Cowl by Kay Adolfson. And it looks like, based on my guess here, is she's crocheting around a like weight 6 or 7 yarn with a weight, well, the green is like a weight 3, potentially even like a weight 2. And so it's creating like a really nice stitch pattern. It's probably really squishy as well based on the yarn there in the center. I just thought it'd be a really cool idea, especially if you had like a white in like a purpley green maybe yarn, and then you use black instead of this green here, and it would almost look like, I feel like stained glass a little bit. So So I thought that was a really cute idea. I think is pretty cute is the Noctis Draconis by Emily Outard. It looks like it uses some people call it the dragon scale stitch, some people call it the alligator stitch. Really, it's whatever you want to call it. It's done predominantly in like use color A, use color B. However, there is a section that's a little bit hard to see. It's this middle section just underneath the red dragon scales, which potentially uses both colors at the same time, or you do one row and then your next row is basically on top of that one, like in the same spaces as that one. And I think it just looks really nice. Plus dragons, duh. Cozy Brick Sweater by Jennifer Lovett here. This is using consecutive colors, so you're using 2 colors per row and you're essentially switching them out as needed. This looks like it might even be done in Tunisian crochet now that I'm looking at it a little closer up. The way you could recreate this is doing half double crochets for these blue and white squares, and then like a front post double crochet or front post half double crochet for the darker blue color. I tried to stay away from Tunisian crochet for this video just because that's kind of, in my opinion, its own type of crocheting, and it takes a little bit of time to like learn / grasp that concept a bit. Well, the Tales of the Tundra Cowl by Mary P. Hunt. She also has a knit version of this, but the specific stitch she uses is called the waistcoat stitch. And so instead of just single crocheting like you would normally, you're going into the V this time, like into that bar, and creating like a knit looking stitch. And this one uses multiple colors in the same row, like towards the bottom section here. There's potentially up to 3 different colors you're working with at once. So once you get a little bit of a handle on color work and like holding multiple colors at a time, this would be a really good pattern after the fact. Similar idea, but we're now going into the mosaic crochet territory, which I personally don't know how to mosaic crochet. It scares me. I'm scared to learn it. Is the Forager Rowana and Shawl by Natalie Konova. Konova. Okay. It looks like it's just like little berries and leaves. I think it's really cute. If you look really closely, you can kind of see how the mosaic crochet works. It's a little bit hard to say, but I would recommend looking at videos on it, or TikTok has a really good community for mosaic crochet. Another project that is mosaic crochet, but you could pretty easily do with front post and front post double crochets, is going to be the Bloma Square by Tatiana again, and that actually this might be done in just front post double crochets. I'm pretty sure it is now that I look at it. So that's a really nice and easy one too. That I thought was really cute and does use your standard one row's one color, the next row's the other color, is the Mermaid Cowl by Alice Terry here, or Tari. And it looks like, I'm guessing, it's like do 1 row of single crochets in the white and then do the shell stitch in this rainbow color. And then you'll likely do the same thing. You'll do the single crochet row of the white. However, for the one to separate the shell stitch, you'll go all the way down to the prior white row to catch that. Really simple stitch pattern, is really simple and easy to remember as well, which is nice. And also gives you a little bit of like you can do a lot with this. You don't have to just make the cowl. Once you make the cowl, or once you buy the pattern and know how to do it, then you can very easily bring this stitch to other patterns as well. I would say yarn management becomes a little bit difficult here. Is the Check It Bag by Lindsay Muscarella. And it looks like the way it works is, it's checkered obviously, but you have 1 square that's done in all brown stitches, and then you have 1 square that's done switching back and forth between the brown and the white. And you do that for, it looks like 7 or 8 stitches, and you switch back to like 8 stitches of brown, and then switch back to the brown and white, switching back and forth, and so on. So this is one of those patterns where yarn management is going to become kind of important, because carrying that white all the way over, you have the option to either catch it while you go or let it be, and so on. Also knowing exactly how to do these stitches, I'm guessing these are standard half double crochet, and it falls in that like checkered pattern that a lot of people have been doing. Another one, like the first pattern I showed you, is the Cat's Meow blanket, where it switches between different yarns in each section of the rows, which again, you're just learning yarn management at that point. if you had any thoughts, feelings, or opinions on, sorry, this blanket is the Cat's Meow blanket by Sweet Potato 3. If you have any thoughts, feelings, or opinions on where I stand in the world, the Fuck Ice Tapestry is actually a really good pattern for learning tapestry crochet. You'll get a good understanding of kind of how many stitches make up a letter and how many stitches should be between the letters to make it clear and visual. Also, fuck ice, you know. Another one is the Pink Gingham Blanket by Tiffany Brown. Once again, yarn management. Each row is going to consist of 2 colors. It's 1 color per little section, so yarn management becomes important. Also remembering what row you're on and which for the gingham to look correctly, or look correct. I didn't want to include really that many amigurumi type things here, so I included one because I thought it was hilarious. There's a Demogorgon cat / dog hat by Julia Core, and this cat just looks way too stoked to be wearing a Demogorgon hood, if I'm being completely honest, so I thought I'd include it here. Yes, it is technically more amigurumi than it is anything else, especially with it using like this amigurumi yarn, but it doesn't look like it's too complicated. Plus, this cat looks like it's having a grand old time. In the theme of pets, we also have the Posh Puppy here by Liz Field. And it looks like it's similar to one of the patterns I mentioned where it's 1 row of 1, second row is the next color, and then row 1 or color 1 again you do, and you go into the previous stitch of that same color's row. Another one that I've seen people freaking love is the Sausage Dog Scarf by Aaliyah Dyson. I just think it's really cute. It's like the Fuck Ice tapestry. It's very similar. It's another tapestry technically, but it's also a scarf, and it again is yarn management. Especially with the high contrast, you really will start to learn how to manage your you'll really learn how to manage that yarn with it being like 2 stark different colors and such. Simple one is the Cat Ear Beanie Hat by Sherilyn Q. That just uses 2 rows of one color, 2 rows of the other color. One that I think looks more advanced than it actually is the Plaid Cardigan by Janie Miska. I have a sneaky suspicion, okay, that this cardigan is first done in stripes. So a blue stripe, a tan stripe, a green stripe, white stripe, so on and so forth. You just do all your stripes, right? And then I think, because I've seen something similar to this, I think you do either holding 2 strands of the yarn and you weave in and out of the strip going the other way. So you do horizontal strips and then weaving the yarn vertically through to create this like, I want to call it a check pattern, but I don't think that's correct. But like this plaidish pattern. However, there is something called, I think it's the Campfire Blanket. I can't remember who it's by, but she does something similar where she does chains that you then sew up through vertically or horizontally. And so I think that's how this is constructed, if I'm being honest. Going back into tapestry crochet, I'm kind of jumping around a lot in this video because I have like 40 patterns here and I'm not showing you all of them. We have the Perfect Cat Blanket by Emily Designs. This uses the mosaic crochet like I mentioned, and I just thought this was really cute because it has the little cats making the hearts with their tails. It has little wind-up mice as well as like little fish bones and stuff. I just thought it was the cutest dang thing ever. Another one that's just an interesting pattern that you could use for pretty much anything you wanted to make is the Octodot Cowl. It looks like it uses single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, so on, and then in the next row you do 3 double crochet in the chain 3 space of the prior row. I've seen blankets done with this like this as well, and things like that, or sweaters have been done this way a couple times. You can do a granny stitch like raglan and then include that single crochet row pretty easily, I think, with no major issues. There is also, I think this one's also done using mosaic crochet, I'm not 100% sure, but this is the Ones and Zeros cardigan by Anna Marie, and it's supposed to be like ones and zeros, like binary code. And then I just thought the contrast of this one was really cute. The white zeros contrasted with this pink and blue stripy yarn looks really cute. My final one, another crazy one, is going to be the 3D Possum Scarf by Emma Crocheted. You're not really using multiple colors at the same time, but you are using different textures of yarn. So like the pink, the white, and the black are all done in like your normal worsted weight yarn, while the entire body is done in like a faux fur yarn. So you, at that point, is just going to be trying to figure out where your stitches are. So it might be just a fun little like challenge almost for crocheters, just trying to figure out those stitches, because I hate faux fur yarn for that reason, but damn do they always look really good. That is going to conclude this video. Guys, let me know which one's your favorite. I don't know if I'm going to make any of these personally, except for maybe the book club wrap potentially. I'm really trying to use some stash busters this year, is really my problem. And none of these really feel stash bustery enough, and I don't really want to make more blankets. Anyway, if you want to see more from me or see if I do make anything with it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.